What's up, guys? Just want to do a quick video about who is the worst, the archetype of like the worst type of Bitcoiner, right? Who's buying Bitcoin? Like, I'm looking at the extremes here. This video is inspired by, I'm just watching some YouTube, watching some Max Kaiser. Awesome, fun guy, fun to watch. I love his take because he has the most fun of all like the mega holders, whatever, for lack of a better term. And he goes off about yeah, him and Booth talk about Bitcoin more than I think they're actually. I'll put it this way: they're the only two people that I actually hear talk about specifically about not thinking about the fiat. Max Kaiser says it's not. Um, it's the least interesting thing about it, which a lot of people would disagree with. That's the reason people click on these. 1 million Bitcoin this year. I mean, those videos are for the mids of Bitcoin education, and this is the whole point of the video: is who is. I'm trying to think of the worst, like the sad stories of Bitcoin. You think about the pizza, the guy who bought the pizza, 10,000 Bitcoin, two pizzas, whatever. But apparently he bought more. Like he already believed it enough. This is my whole point, I guess, is the education part. And again, the point of the video, I try to think about it. Like, who is the worst? I mean, obviously people buy it, and until you adopt the paradigm shift that all Bitcoin, how do I put this? All of the only thing, and maybe I don't know if I'm coining this. Maybe I don't want to take credit. Maybe I heard somewhere else, but I do say this a lot. And I know I actually I'll take the credit for now. Until you adopt the standard, the idea that the greater fool theory, i.e., Apple computers, to a degree, is something historically, traditionally, a Ponzi scheme. The greater fool theory is most aptly explained, because in order for you to, if it's shit, the greater the fool is, the more your stuff goes up. Like a pyramid scheme, right? And if it is true, ultimately, that fiat has always been a pyramid scheme, and the day Bitcoin was invented, that moment was a paradigm shift in which Bitcoin is now the first asset, new asset, whatever, in which the greater fool theory works the other way, i.e., looking at the fiat price against Bitcoin is a beyond fool's error. Is that even the phrase? And so at a certain point, and again, this is the point of the video, is like you can spend 1,000 hours on Bitcoin and still not get there. It is a psychological wall in your brain. I mean, everyone. I do it every day. Everyone does it. Everyone. Maybe not. Maybe not Booth. Maybe not Max Kaiser. Even Saylor. It's I shouldn't say I know what they're thinking, but I think I know what they're thinking. To my knowledge, and so again, that's my position. Is like, and so here comes the question and the point of the video, or the question I'm asking in the title of the video is who is the biggest. I don't even know what I'm gonna title it yet, but yeah, who is the worst buyer, the worst type of person to buy Bitcoin? Maybe I'll name it that. And the worst person is that guy, right, that bought 10,000 Bitcoin, assuming he didn't buy more, and he just goes like, I'm a big gamer. I came into Fortnite way too late. I played it in the alpha, and then I'm like, 2 weeks went by, it blew up, and I'm like, it's a terrible analogy because it's like, it's a terrible analogy because that's a video game. Obviously, I understand it's bad, but I kept pushing it back. I just was thinking about that. I probably shouldn't even brought that up, but I kept that's a terrible analogy. Never forget I said that, but that's how people, I think, might think about. That's the worst kind of buyer. They think about, well, I got it in at this amount, and they never did enough work. They have like an elitist view, and they go, I'm sure there's plenty of these people out there that get salty. I mean, actually, I know personally a couple people. I didn't think about that until just now. When Bitcoin is at about $35,000 this last time. I think I don't know what they bought it at, but I know they lost a lot of money, and it was at 60. Even if it was at 60 when they bought, but they sold on the way down. They didn't. They were greedy and not. They just weren't educated. People want, it's FOMO, but FOMO at a infantile level. So maybe toddler level, maybe high school, maybe so you want to be at least college educated. That's not a good way to put it. You want to be educated, a good amount of education, and that's why education. I used to tell people to buy Bitcoin and be like, I believe in it, and then of course the salesman thing. That is like a subconscious Ponzi brain. I believe in it. You should too. And you buy it, makes my shit go up. Or I'm so smart. There's always ego, right? But again, I don't want anyone. I never push Bitcoin anymore. I don't want people to buy it. I might not even have Bitcoin. You don't know. I might have a derivative. I don't know. A proxy. And I don't tell people to buy it because if you're going to sell it, it's just going to break your heart. So you got to learn about it. And if you're going to lose it, it's just going to break your heart. You got to learn how to hold on to it. Multi-sig or whatever. You can even do an ETF. That's kind of goes against the ethos. But an ETF for the short term, I don't know. I don't think that's a good way to start out, but whatever. Educate. The point is not selling it. And yeah, you can do that in an ETF. And the good thing about ETF, I guess you have to pay a percentage, which I don't know. It eats into it, especially I don't know how exactly. Yeah, but the good thing is it's perfectly secure, and you go overseas and you just go, well, 5 years. You don't have to worry about moving Bitcoin overseas or how you're gonna memorize the seed phrase and go over there. Or you're gonna have someone call you up on the phone. Like, how are you gonna actually, you know what I mean? You're gonna go with the hardware wallet, go overseas. It's like, well, you got ETF, so at least you're in the game. You got some stake in it, and then. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about in this video is. It's another framing, I guess, of the same thing. But I was just thinking about that. Like, I don't know if people have really talked about it. Who is the worst buyer of Bitcoin? The guy who bought at $5 a Bitcoin. He bought $5 worth of Bitcoin. And he sold it at $1,000. I'm not great at math, but he made $4,000. And then, oh no, that's not right. I'm not gonna do math on it. But yeah, but he sold it at $5,000. At $5,000. His Bitcoin was at $5,000. All right. So yeah, carry the one. And so he's pissed, and I think there's plenty of those people that didn't get back in because it's ego. If you don't have dry powder, you don't have dry powder. And how bad does it look if you don't understand Bitcoin? You're buying Bitcoin at $100,000 right now, and you bought it at $5. Like, how do you? And if you're not at like a certain we'll call it cult level, facetiously in quotes, cult level is when you refer to Bitcoin as God or the first greater fool theory, first asset, the paradigm shift in which it's the first asset ever. We'll call it asset for the sake of argument. First asset where the greater fool theory does not apply. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. How many hours have you spent? Do you know someone who's sold their stuff? Have you sold your stuff? Did you buy back in once you understood it better? Yeah, let me know. Have a good one, guys.